some noise for Scott Bedgood. Let him hear it.
What's up, Rockwall? Y'all doing good tonight? Hey, Kevin, I forgot my hot water back there and a piece of paper. Can you bring that up?
Yeah.
He's my brother in comedy, guys, and he does things for me. Hey, y'all having a good day? Make some noise for Rocky Deer again. My gosh. Make some noise for Kevin, A-Train, and for Jack's Comedy Club. This is the best. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kevin. All right. Like you said, I am Scott Bedgood. I live in Plano, so I got to come out here to Rockwall, which was awesome. Like on the way, I got to see y'all's landmarks on the road. What do you call those? Construction cones? Yeah, that was super cool. That was awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. I am from Tyler, Texas. Anybody? All right, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Home of Patrick Mahomes, right? Home of Patrick Mahomes, but that is not why I look like a bald Ozempic Travis Kelce. It's just a coincidence. That is just a coincidence. No, I don't actually look that much like Travis Kelce, but we do have three things in common, so I like to bring it up. We're both tall, both have this mustache, and we both wish we were black. So. Have you guys heard him talk? Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, and that's exactly why I wish I was black, because everything a black guy says sounds way cooler than me, right? Like a black guy can say a real basic thing like, I got that thing on me, and that means he's got a gun. Now that sounded cool, right? And if I'm like, I've got that thing on me, you'd be like, I know a good dermatologist. That's called a mole. We should get that removed. But, I am cool with a lot of black people. I got a lot of black friends. A-Train. And others who didn't show up tonight. So, but no, I know you're like, oh my gosh, you're wearing corduroy. There's no way you have black friends. I do, okay, guys? I know a lot about black culture, and this is how. When I was in high school, I had a friend named Wesley. I'd go over to Wesley's house. We'd get in his car, turn the subwoofer up, drive around town blasting rap music. So I learned a lot about black culture from Wesley. Now would be a good time to let you guys know. Wesley is also white. So just two white private school kids driving around town listening to I'm So Hood as we pulled up to Andy's Frozen Custard. So super hood. But I do listen to way too much rap music to wear corduroy, and I have nowhere to use these lyrics. Like, I wish I could use the rap lyrics in my head, but I just can't. Like, I have two kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old, and they're gonna ask me for advice as they get old. They're gonna be like, hey, how do I maintain strong relationships? How do I have friends that don't stab me in the back? And I wish I could hit them with some street knowledge. You know, I wish I could be like, man, I stopped smoking with haters back in '94. Sounded great when Pimp C said it, but when Scott B says it doesn't really work, right? I was 4 years old in 1994. I don't smoke, and I don't have haters because I don't do anything well, so it's not really good advice for me. Or when they're turning 16 and they're like, okay, I'm learning to drive, you know what, Dad, what do I do if the police pull me over? What do I tell the police? I'm like, first of all, the ghetto boy said, we don't talk to police, so don't say anything. And they're like, but what if they want to search my car? I'd be like, oh. He said the glove compartment with locks was the trunk in the back, and I know my rights, so you're gonna need a warrant for that. They'll be like, whoa. Are you some type of lawyer or something? Are you somebody important or something? I'll be like, I ain't past the bar, but I know a little bit, right? Because I've listened to Jay-Z's 99 Problems hundreds of times, okay? It sounds like good legal advice, but would Dad tell a cop that? No. Okay, I don't have drugs in my car. I don't even know how to lock the glove compartment. Is that a key? Like, what? Would you like a mint officer? I'm not hiding drugs, right? I don't even know anything about drugs. This is true. My wife and I, in our first apartment, we started smelling a real skunky smell coming from the vents. 20 minutes after 4 every afternoon. I don't know, just a random time that I came up with. But never once occurred to us that our neighbors were just smoking weed. I'm not joking you. I called the apartment complex and reported that a skunk died in our vents. They didn't even send a maintenance man. They just wrote narc in 183 and raised our rent. Get these snitches out of here. So, it's gonna become apparent to you guys that I get obsessed with a lot of random topics. We're gonna go through some random stuff tonight, so just buckle up. I've been accused by more than one comedian of being autistic, which is a little bit of a pot calling the kettle black situation, but I'm not. I'm not autistic. I am ADHD, right? There's some similarities, like ADHD and autistic people that get really, obsessed with things. But just so you guys know the difference, ADHD is like autism for people with friends. So we're gonna go through some random stuff, but we're gonna stay on music for a little bit because I am just like super obsessed with music. And I think the reason I'm obsessed with music is like I grew up in a household without a lot of music, so it's kind of like a rejection of that, right? Like my mom only listened to two things in the car: 70s disco and Rush. Limbaugh. So you got excited for a second, and then you were like, actually, yeah, no. And so I was probably the only like 6-year-old that was just like super into 70s disco only, right? Like I'm getting in the car, like, Mom, can we listen to Let's Groove tonight? Like just no political talk, right? But those two things like really shaped my worldview, right? Like these are the only things I was really listening to. So when I heard something that was like contrary to 70s disco or conservative politics, it kind of like threw me for a loop, right? The first time I heard about Black History Month, I was like, what about White History Month? The first time I heard about Earth Day, I was like, what about Wind and Fire Day? Don't leave the other members of the band out of this. See, I know you guys are my crowd because a lot of times that just gets blank stares, right? So then I just sing September for them and then they leave. So, but my dad, he had two other musical influences for me. He had a Doobie Brothers Greatest Hits CD that always stayed in the CD player of his gold Jaguar. And then he had 8-track tapes of Elvis, right? So, that's right, that's okay, thank you. We're doing 40 minutes of music stuff tonight. But when you're 10, Elvis hits a little different, all right? So in 5th grade, whatever age 5th grade is, our art teacher said that we could go home and get music, like a music player, come and listen on headphones while we did art. This was a big deal in like the late 90s, early 2000s, right? So everyone went home, they got their Walkmans, their CD players, they came back so they could listen to NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and stuff while they did their art. And I went home and got what was available to me. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever been bullied while listening to Hound Dog on an 8-track, but I'd be crying all the time. So I'm glad you guys like Elvis because I don't want it to seem like I love Elvis, But did you guys see that Elvis movie? That's like the saddest movie I've ever seen. It's like so clear, like being rich and famous is terrible, right? I never want to be rich and famous. And I know you guys are like, you're fine. Don't worry. No, you don't need to worry about that at all. My dad did eventually sell that gold Jaguar like 10 years later and forgot to take the CD out of it and has not listened to music since. So, just all... No, don't worry guys, he got the satellite radio with the Fox News channel, so he's totally very entertained by listening to TV on the radio. It's incredible. I'm married. I've been married in a couple weeks. It'll be 10 years. I've been married for 10 years. I need a little bit more time to take a drink, guys. When you've been married this long, people ask you for marriage advice. You got any marriage advice? And honestly, no. Because like all the marriage advice I've ever gotten was like terrible, especially when I was getting married, right? It was always some old guy like, hey man, just let her win the argument. She's probably right anyway. Rockwall, Texas. That's not how I'm operating, right? I cannot afford to do that. I'm 34 years old. I've quit all rec league sports because I kept getting hurt. I don't play video games or gamble. And if I beat my 5-year-old son at anything, he cries for 3 hours. An argument with my wife is the last thing I have left to win, okay? I can't give that up, Rockwall. I have have to keep trying. I don't win a lot of them. Like I get the easy ones in, right? You know, but like the big ones when the chips are down, the big important ones, I'm full. Like, you know, I'm not winning any championship games, right? Like I'm the Dallas Cowboys of my marriage. Thank you. Okay, well, they got two. You know, Eli got 2 Super Bowls for him, so I'm not even Eli Manning in my marriage. Oh, okay, whatever. If you're good at math, you're like, oh, you're 34 and you got married 10 years ago. You were 24 when you got married. That's right. Whoever figured that out. My wife was 21, and if you're wondering, we were both virgins when we got married. Holding for applause. There's a lot less applause than the 10 years thing. I got this new watch for Christmas. It's an analog watch. You guys like that? Yeah, I like it a lot because my favorite thing about it is that I never know what time it is. So, like, sir, could you ask me what time it is? Yeah, could.
I'm sorry. Could you tell me what time it is?
Oh, would you like an estimate? I think it's in the 8 o'clock hour, but you know what? Look it up on your phone. Why are you asking me? You have a phone. Why would you need? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I do love old things though, right? Like, and that's good because old things are coming back. All the old things are coming back, right? Like analog watches, vinyl records, measles, rock wall. You guys are in the national news right now, okay? Should be wearing a mask up here. Do you guys want me to go back to the virginity thing? I will. Here's what happened, guys. One of those abstinence speakers came to my school. You guys know what I'm talking about. This is Rockwall, Texas. He came to your school too, okay, guys? Don't deny it. Y'all just didn't listen, I guess, but... You know these guys? They looked like they had like an Abercrombie shirt on, a puka shell necklace, like frosted tips, like looks a lot like this guy right here, if I'm honest. Like, kind of getting triggered, but I feel like he's gonna tell me to keep it in my pants, but they show up like him, looking like they stepped out of MTV's Real World. They're like, yo, I know I'm cool, but you know what's not cool? Sex before marriage. Yo, tell me more. And he's like, virginity is a gift, and you don't want to just throw that gift in the trash. And we were in middle school, so we all just looked at the people who already had. We were like, right, Stephanie? The weird thing about this guy, and this is true, and like I hope at someday when I tell this joke, someone will be like, he came to my school too, but maybe he wasn't a licensed speaker, but he came to my school and he did this. He handed out cards at the end that were like, I will not have sex until marriage, and you'd sign it, and he's like, I'm not gonna give this to your principal, I'm not gonna give this to your parents. And guys, I was 5'3", I had braces and a chili bowl haircut. That's the easiest promise I've ever made in my life. I wasn't turning down opportunities, okay? It was just like just done. And I handed it back to him. And ever since I've been like, what happened to those cards? Because there's 2 options that I've thought about that could happen to those cards. One is this guy took those cards, kept them, drove around the country with thousands of middle schoolers' virginity cards in his van. That's the good option. Because the other option, he took those V cards and he threw them in the trash, just like Stephanie. So, kind of hypocritical of this guy. People do, they wonder, right? Like, you feel like you're missing out on anything. You only ever slept with one person, you know? And I don't, right? Because right now, my wife, greatest at sex to me, right? And I'm the greatest ever to her. So I could never cheat on my wife because I can't keep that like devastating, life-altering, horrible secret from her. You know that I'm bad at sex. Like, she can't know that, guys. So I'm never gonna cheat on her and find out, right? She hates that joke, by the way. She hates that joke. She hates that I'm a comedian. Her number one fear in life is like being embarrassed. So she space interferes all the time being around me. And she's like super introverted, so she's very different than me. But I know that like embarrassment is like the thing that she fears the most, because the other day we hiked to the top of this waterfall, and it was very cold, it was frozen on top, and there's like a 1,000-foot drop off the edge. So I look over the edge, I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. And I start walking back, and I slip on the ice. And I'm falling, mere feet away from certain death. And she's in a pretty good spot. She's on dry ground, she could grab me, she could shriek for help. But as I'm falling, I just hear her go, Scott. Looked around to make sure no one was there. We were in the middle of the woods. We're the only people dumb enough to hike over the frozen ice, okay? So I land and she goes, I told you to be careful. Like, I'm pretty sure the only reason she was happy I didn't fall was because she didn't have to call 911 and talk to a stranger on the phone. And if you think I'm being like rude to her in this joke, I told her this joke and she laughed hysterically. And I said, whoa, don't you think I'm being a little uncharitable towards you with your feelings about that situation? She was just like, I can't help it, that's exactly what happened. Don't worry guys, she's not here. She went to dinner with a friend, so we can laugh at her. But we do have 2 dogs along with our 2 kids. A lot of people with just dogs, they're like, oh, it's like having a kid. It's not. It's not, because like, for example, I've never once regretted having 2 dogs. The only time I don't like having a dog is when I take them for a walk and one of them poops in someone's front yard and then I don't have a poop bag. Because I always imagine Deborah is right in that house, just like ready to report me on Nextdoor. And there's no action I can take that doesn't get me reported, right? Because if I take off running to go get a poop bag, before I'm even at the house, this guy's dog pooped in my yard and he ran away. If I walk away casually, this guy's dog pooped in my yard and he didn't even care. And so, I found the solution. The only way to communicate to Deborah and whoever else is walking that I am both upset about what happened and I'm gonna go to my house, grab a poop bag, come back and dispose of it properly, is to just become the world's largest mime. I'm just like, report that, Deborah. This guy mimed throwing a poop bag at my house. I love Nextdoor. Do you guys love Nextdoor and Nextdoor people? This is Rockwall. Y'all love Nextdoor, don't you? My favorite part about Nextdoor is the victim blaming. Because no matter what happened to you, if you tell Nextdoor this, the first comment is like, that was your fault, right? Like if Deborah had posted, like, this guy's dog pooped in my yard, and he didn't pick it up, the first comment would be like, well, maybe you shouldn't make your grass so inviting for canine defecation. I put spikes and Vietnam-era landmines in my grass. Maybe we should try that, Deborah. The second comment would be, what race was the dog? My favorite is the only good social media. We do have 2 kids. Like I said, we have a 5-year-old. He's very, very smart. Sounds cool. It's not really that cool because he's like got a lot of tough behavioral issues, right? And so these things kind of go hand in hand. So every time there's like a big stride with his intelligence, there's a big stride with like problems, right? So like he's learning to read. That's cool. That means that he's going to come up to us really soon and be like, hey, why are there so many books in this house called how to raise a difficult child. I don't know, man. You figure that one out, smart guy. We didn't even buy any of those. They were given to us. So, yeah, everybody knows. But yeah, he is. He has a combination of the different levels of intelligence of my wife and I, and so pretty obvious by now, I think, that I'm a random trivia fan, right? A random fan, and so he and I love trivia questions and stuff. Is anybody a trivia person? Like to go to trivia nights or anything like that? Okay, who wants to answer a trivia question? You're not gonna get it right, it's fine. But if you do, you win. I'll walk off the stage. So he asked me the other day, this is true, he asked me the other day, he was like, hey, there's only one flag in the world that doesn't have red, white, or blue in it. Does anybody know what it is? Japan is both red and white. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna stay up here, unfortunately. It's Jamaica, so you had the J right. Okay, so we won't do geography. Animal question. What type of bear kills the most people in the United States per year?
The brown?
Brown? Okay, they're pretty quick to go with brown. Polar was an option. Black was an option. Y'all didn't go there. That's fine. Grizzly, you're saying? Okay, it's actually gummy. I didn't look that one up, I just know it's true. Diabetes is a lot more dangerous than grizzly. But the thing that we both love a lot is geography. He memorized all 50 states and capitals last summer when he was 4. Is anybody not from Texas? Okay, where are we from? Seattle, Washington. Okay. No, Olympia. Don't worry, I got it. Everyone relax, I got it. Where we got? Yeah, you were gonna share. Where are we from? Virginia, Richmond. All right, anybody else? Give me one more.
Minnesota.
California, Sacramento, Minnesota, St. Paul. All right, so the reason I do that is because I want you guys to know, and I want y'all to listen, I'm better than everyone in here at geography. I could beat all of you in a geography quiz and a flag quiz. And I know I could beat everybody in this room because my 5-year-old son is not here, so otherwise I would be a little concerned. Yeah, he's. But the problem with that brag is that is not a cool brag. That is never going to make me more money or bail me out of a situation. No one's ever going to kidnap my family and be like, "We'll let him go if you tell us the capital of Mongolia." Right? Like, that's just not something that's going to happen. But my wife has the better intelligence because she was good at studying, right? She made good grades. I was reading about rap groups while I was supposed to be studying, right? But she finished top of her class in college, right? But all that time spent studying, she did lose a lot of common sense, right? Like the sophomore year, she and her roommate watched their TV in black and white the entire semester because they plugged the RGB cables in wrong and didn't know how to fix it. I don't know what's wrong with this, man. The worst part is her roommate is now a doctor. So, she could diagnose you with cancer, but couldn't diagnose that red was plugged into the green. Like, picture this, she's going to anatomy lab, cutting open a cadaver of someone's grandma named Ethel, and then coming home and watching One Tree Hill like it's I Love Lucy. It's not great. But I do want to be clear about my wife. She is actually very funny, and she will write jokes just accidentally. While I'm working hard on them, she just will come up with a better joke than me. The other day she said, I used to hate going to the dentist until I had kids, and now it's the only form of self-care I get. You know, just laying back there, eyes closed, someone else doing the work for an hour. Right? It's amazing. She's like, I'm gonna show up to the dentist next time in a robe with cucumbers over my eyes. And that is the life. Yeah. So I'm not a science guy. I actually hate science. Anybody else hate science? Hey, speaking of hating science, guess what it is? 5 years since COVID. Make some noise. COVID. No, I'm kind of getting a little nostalgic about COVID. And I actually saw an article the other day that I'm not the only one, right? Some people are they're looking back and they're like, the early days of COVID were kind of cool, right? we were all like manically depressed, but it allowed some people to work on themselves. Anybody pick up any cool hobbies during COVID? Anybody? Okay, what do we got? Oh, well, then you started a business off of it? Let's go, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, right? You know, people bettered themselves, right? You're manically depressed, you got this time, you bettered themselves. And then, not me. No, yeah, you know what I did? I got obsessed with going to the grocery store, buying plantains, coming home, disinfecting the grocery bag, being safe, everyone, wiping that grocery bag down, chopping those plantains up, putting some reggaeton on, and making tostones. And I know what you're thinking, white people, what are plantains? Plantains, they look like bananas, but like all good Dominican things. They're like on steroids. They're huge, right? But you can't eat them raw. You gotta take them home, you gotta chop them up, fry them in oil. They taste like banana flavored shit, right? And I know what you're thinking, Hispanic people that I'm pretending are here. Scott, you're not Dominican or Puerto Rican. You're right. But during COVID, I'm gonna take that mask off, and I put that Daddy Yankee on. Soy Boricua, you know? Just saying, I was a bad man bumping that Bad Bunny. Sir, Bad Bunny, te gustas? Sir, Daddy Yankee? Yeah? Ricky Martin? No, not a Ricky. He's not. This guy's not living La Vida Loca at all. He's not a Boricua like me. Guys, that's not all I did during COVID, though. So a little bit of background. I'm a writer. I'm a sports writer. In 2017, I wrote a book called Lessons from Legends. I interviewed 12 college football Hall of Fame coaches. You can buy it on Amazon, so I'll then make more money from this show. I would like that. Yeah, that would be great. But by 2020, I was like kind of tired of doing sports writing, and I was like, I want to write my next book, and I want it to be something interesting and weird and maybe stand out. What a better time to come up with some weird stuff than when I'm manically depressed during COVID, right? So I started a document called Book Ideas 2020. And all year I wrote whatever idea came into my mind. And then I forgot about it. Until a few weeks ago, 2025, I found this document. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be my breakthrough. And guys, I actually printed this document out. Kevin brought it up for me very, very nicely. Would you guys like to hear some of my book ideas? Are you feeling good about this? Okay. So, first idea. This has not been open since November 2020, by the way, so this is a whole year, all right? Kim Jong-un alternate history. I elaborate. He goes to boarding school in Switzerland. Just a little insert. He did that, by the way. Look it up. This is where it gets alternate. Tries Toblerone for the first time. Renounces his family. Lives a life as a Swiss chocolatier until news reaches him that his father has died and he must choose between chocolate and family. It's fine. That was the first idea. It's a whole document. Sometimes you get the bad ideas out first. Let's go to the second idea. Kim Jong-un coloring book. That's the whole document. That was an entire year of my creative life. So just a quick COVID recap. During COVID, I got obsessed with making Caribbean food and writing love letters to Kim Jong-un like I'm Donald Trump. So somehow depression turned me into a Dominican Republican? Guys, that was a lot of work to get to that little play on words. I want y'all to realize that. I do love words, though, because I am a writer. The thing is, though, you're always having to keep up with what you can and can't say these days, right? Like, did you know you can't say homeless anymore, right? Does anyone know the proper term for homeless?
Unhoused.
Unhoused. There's also houseless. There's also person experiencing houselessness or something. The reason for all of that, I think it's a good reason. The reason for all that is because a house is a living situation, but a home is like, it's a state of mind. Like it's where the heart is, right? So you could feel at home on the street, but not have a house. And I think that's good, because the other day I was in Austin, and that houseless guy looked right at home taking a dump on the sidewalk. His heart was in it, guys. His heart. That's where the heart is. But as a writer, I don't make, a whole lot of money, so I'm always looking for new ways to make money, like comedy. What a great choice. So basically I'm just, what I'm saying is I'm dreaming of winning the Powerball. And people are always like, what would you do if you won the Powerball? And it's like, I don't want anyone to know I won the Powerball. So I'm not buying a boat or a house or a car or anything like that. Honestly, I just live my life normally, but I want to do the right thing. So the only way anybody would know I won the Powerball is I would finally start paying for all my own streaming services. My parents would be like, did he come into money somehow? Like, how did he do that? I'm 34 now. Yeah, I'm 34. No one cheers for 34. That's fine. Let me hit you with a little bit of a surprise. Last year I was 33. So, all right. When I turned 33, I got a weird text. It said, "Hey man, it's your Jesus year." It was actually sent by this guy. I've been doing this joke since he sent it to me. I don't think he's ever seen me do it. Hey Jay, remember when you texted me that? Yeah. I thought it was weird because I was like, isn't that when Jesus died? At 33, right? And I was like, that's kind of an odd thing to think about when you turn 33, that God himself was like, 33 is the peak. Let's call it at 33, Now that I'm 34, I get it, right? It's been downhill. But I think what happened was Jesus went to his annual physical, and the doctor was like, Jesus, I think it's time to start turning that wine back into water. And with those knees, I think your walking on water days are behind you. And Jesus was like, dang, at least I can still break bread with the homies. And he was like, you're gluten intolerant now, so maybe just one final Last Supper with the boys. Hey, speaking of religion, I'm going to hit you guys with something that is probably a big surprise to everyone. It's Ramadan. Yes. Anyone know that? Yes. Well, yeah. I saw a lot more baklava these days. I know, that's what I'm saying, but I saw the baklava. Just stay open past sundown, you'll be making a lot of money. The reason I say that, if y'all don't know, is Ramadan, Muslims fast during the day and then they eat at night. So it's the holy month of Ramadan, and I think it's important to build bridges between religions, right? I'm a Christian, so I do comedy at bagel shops, and always having conversations with Muslims, I'm always talking to them when I'm in Ubers, and the other day I was in one, and after he cut through the third parking lot, I was like, Muhammad Earnhardt, is it Ramadan? Are you hungry? What's going on? And he was like right at sundown, he was like, yes, you are my last customer. And then I'm gonna go eat. And I was like, man, does it ever get easier? Fasting during Ramadan? He goes, no, it's always really hard. But religion. I was like, man, I get it, right? I'm a Christian, right? Sometimes, on Sundays, the pastor talks for too long. And I'm 5 minutes late to brunch. Have you seen the lines at Breadwinner's Cafe on a Sunday? But religion. So we bonded during that time. Being 34, I'm dead in the middle of being a millennial, right? I don't see a ton of millennials out here. I see a lot of people who might claim to be millennial on certain days, but to let you guys know what it's like being a millennial, the best way I can describe it is half the companies I worked for in my life don't exist anymore. That's not something my grandfather's generation dealt with, right? They went to work for the Ford Motor Company at 18 and retired at 65 with a gold watch and a pension. And then I wake up one day, pull up my laptop, and the company I work for, my coworkers, and the product we sell are gone from the face of the earth. The only evidence they ever existed is just the free swag they sent us, right? That doesn't help you in an interview. You can't be like, oh yeah, no, I promise all the work I did for CRISPR Tech was real. Look at this mug. Like AI has come a long way, but it still can't help me put a monogram JanSport backpack on my resume, right? That's just, it's not. All right, the last one didn't work. Should have stuck with the mug situation. But, you know, live and learn. But yeah, I done a lot of sports writing in my life, and you're probably looking at me, you're like, I know why you've done that. Because I'm not a good athlete, right? So I'm good at writing about it, but not a good athlete. In fact, the other day I was walking out of my house, I had a sweater on, and I put a big heavy coat on, and my wife went, whoa, don't you think that's too much weight for your frame? It was like she saw me at the gym, put like 345s on each side of the bar that I was gonna bench press. She was like, why don't we start with a windbreaker? Work our way up to a cardigan, you know? Like, not trying to hurt ourselves with a heavy coat, right? But it is weird that I am built this way, because my grandfather is super strong and super tough. He's 98 years old. He works out every day. Y'all can clap for him. He won't hear you, but you know. But that toughness, right? That toughness comes from how he was raised. He grew up in Louisiana during the Depression. At one point, he was so poor he lived in a tent on the bayou. So that toughness carried throughout his life. When he was in his 80s, he was in the gym. He was doing some curls. He popped his bicep up into his arm. It echoed throughout the Planet Fitness. He didn't go to the doctor, just dealt with it. I don't mean to brag about my own privilege, but I grew up in a house. And the other day, I went to the doctor because I sat for too long. So, it's a nurture thing, not a nature thing. But I do want to be clear, I did play sports growing up, and I did even play football one time, 1 year. I was a 5'6", so I'd grown since the abstinence talk. 5'6", 145-pound offensive lineman. Do you know how embarrassing it is to line up, down, set, hut, oh, knocked on your butt, down, set, hut, oh, knocked on your butt, down, set, hut, oh, knocked on your butt, over and over again by the blocking sled? It's not great. And I shouldn't have played football. Like, my parents, like, they told me I should not play, right? My friends were like, we will make fun of you if you play. And my coaches were like, we really wish you weren't playing. But it was our school's first year of football. It's a private school. We had 23 guys on the roster. They couldn't cut me. And I don't know if you guys are like football fans, but there's offense, defense, and special teams. There's 11 guys on each of those teams. So we had 23 guys. So that means that there were guys playing on offense, defense, and special teams. And I was playing on none of those teams. So it's not one of those teams, right? And my friends would show up to games. I was number 68. They put 68 on signs and they would chant 68, 68. Put him in, put him in. And I bottled all this up and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to play football next year, but I want to make one play, right? I want to make one play. I want them to say my name in the stadium, right? I want to like make the newspaper. I want to make one play and then I'll be done. And guys, it happened. Last game of the season, playing our crosstown rivals, stadium's packed. Punt team goes out there, I hear 68 get out there. Here we go. Punt goes up. 68's running down the field. Ball's coming to the punt returner. Oh, he's getting nervous. He drops it. Right on top of it. Whole stadium hears. Fumble recovered by number 68, Scott Bedgood. Oh yeah, everyone's going crazy. Yeah, my coaches are going crazy. My friends with the signs were like, he's an underutilized talent. That's what we've been saying the whole season. And my parents' friends, they go to high five my parents, and they weren't there. They went to dinner. So, yeah, they didn't think I was going to play. So they did not believe in me. Yeah, so they get there in like the late third quarter, they pull up, they have to hit pause on China Grove and get out of the Gold Jaguar. And they walk up and their friends were like, Scott recovered a fumble. And they were like, I don't think so. You believe, like, my parents did not believe in me at all, right? And the worst part is, they were right. That was not me. My coaches were so desperate to keep me off the field that they had some injuries on the offensive line, and they were like, oh my gosh, our only option is Scott. So they took my jersey, they found a receiver who hadn't caught a pass, and they were like, you're a lineman now. And that was the only play he made in his whole life. And he gets up with the football, he's holding it, and he hears, fumble recovered by number 68, Scott Bedgood. Guys, I'm not joking you. I was in the newspaper. The second paragraph, Scott Bedgood recovered the fumble. I got photos taken with me. People were high-fiving me, hugging me on campus. I was a celebrity, okay? Like, he did all the work on the football field. I got all the coverage in the media. I told you guys I was a big Travis Kelce, but in high school, I was the Taylor Swift of that. You know what I'm saying? But, and now I just watch sports, and my favorite thing to eat while I watch sports, wings. Boneless wings? Where are my boneless wings people at? Yeah, right here. Woo, that's right. But I hear the haters. I heard the haters. I saw the looks on your faces. You're like, ooh, you like chicken nuggets? I knew what you This guy loves bone-in wings, but you know what? I freaking love chicken nuggets. I've never once been at Chick-fil-A and been like, you know what these need? Put some bones in these nuggets. I can't enjoy these, there's bones in here, right? And I know people are like, oh, that's a little embarrassing to order chicken nuggets and have them with your beer at the bar. Okay, that's fine. What's more embarrassing? Sitting there with your dinner smeared all over your face and your soul patch, and then having to drink your beer like this. Not me, I'm not doing that. Definitely not doing that. You know why? Because I just found out recently I'm allergic to beer. You guys are upset, look at me. I'm a white guy with a mustache. Microbrewery is my personality. Like a white guy with a mustache not being able to drink beer is like, oh shoot, all of these examples are racist. Oh man, that's, you know what? I'm gonna go with the safe one, the Asian one. So a white guy with a mustache not being able to drink beer is like an Asian guy not being able to be more successful than me. Did you guys see how I was nice to Asians there? Yeah, two reasons. One, I live in Plano, so just looking out. And two, a lot of Asians are allergic to alcohol, right? They get the Asian glow. Make some noise, Asians. That's right. I'm right though, right? The Asian glow, that's real. Well, you're not allergic, but it is real. A lot of Asians are allergic to alcohol. They get the Asian glow. Yeah, I knew you didn't know that, but I'm educating you. I'm here to educate everyone about different races, but so I get to hang out with Asians now, right? Because a lot of them have found out how to have fun without alcohol, and that's cool. And I think it's pretty obvious by now. I'm cool with a lot of races, right? You know, like black people invite me to the cookout, right? Hispanic people invite me to the fiesta. I don't know what we're gonna do at the stir fry, but I'm excited to find out my new Asian friends. So excited to find that out. So, I think it's clear I'm obsessed with a lot of different things, you know? I think that's been pretty obvious. Anybody have any weird obsessions out here? But you're into something really cool besides cool hats? Love this hat. Nobody? What do you got? What do you say? Feet? Oh. Glad I wore boots. So, you know what? I'm gonna move on from that question. It's cool being here in Rockwall. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. It really is not lost on me that you guys spent real American dollars to come watch us do comedy, and that's really awesome. And we'll never look past that. Like, that is incredible. So make some noise for yourself, Rockwall. It's It's really, really cool. And make some noise again for Kevin and Rocky and A-Train and Desperanza for putting the show together. I mean, this is cool. But yeah, you know, I want to talk about, so sometimes when I ask if people are obsessed with something, a lot of dudes, crypto, right? Any crypto dudes out here? All right, if you're afraid to talk about it, just lock in right here. I gotta tell you something. Stop explaining cryptocurrency to women. Stop explaining cryptocurrency to women. They're not gonna get it, okay? And by women, I mean me. I don't understand cryptocurrency at all. I don't get it. I don't want to get it. And honestly, like, there's some things I don't understand in life, and some things I do want to know more about. I'm just gonna think of a random one I totally haven't thought of a lot. It's spider webs. Don't understand spider webs. I walk on a sidewalk at night, everything's fine, it's fine. I walk on that same sidewalk in the morning, what happens? Boom, face full of silk. Where did that come from? I look in the sky, there's a tree 50 feet in the air. There's a stop sign 50 feet that way. There's nothing over here. I know I hate science and I'm really bad at physics, okay? But I think you need 3 anchor points for it to be like this, right? Okay? Okay, you know what spiders also don't have? Wings. How did it get from the tree to the stop sign over and over and over again at night? How did it do that? These are things I'm worried about a lot. And what I talk about it so much, I asked my friends about this one time and one of them goes, I know. Static electricity. He goes, spiders can fly hundreds of miles via electromagnetic waves. So you can't just make stuff up. I know that's not true. Like, I've never been hit in the face with a flying spider. I don't know of spiders who go to Oklahoma City on vacation and back, right? And here's the real reason I know that's not true. Because if so, Spider-Man's really been sandbagging us. How many crimes could he have stopped in New York City if he just zipped over on electromagnetic waves, but he's bungee jumping off the Empire State Building? Oh, that guy got mugged down there. Oh man, could have stopped it. Oh, also, while I'm talking about Spider-Man, he gets bit by a radioactive spider. Where do the webs come out of, sir? His wrists, right? I don't know a lot about spiders, but where do spider webs come out of? Their butt, okay? So why is he not going around New York City like this? Oh, that guy got mugged. So, and maybe it's because this is not like a cool pose for the newspaper, like just taking pictures. And the point is, like, I have a lot of things I'm obsessed with, and I do want to know more about some of them, like spider webs, okay? And I know knowing more about spider webs is never going to make me more money, okay? Neither, frankly, is knowing more about cryptocurrency. Or knowing more about Ulaanbaatar. That's the capital of Mongolia. I told you I was better than you at geography. Hey, I'm Scott Bedgood. Thank y'all so much.